What is up, car addicts? In this video, I'll be top speed drag race testing the new Dinka Blista Kanjo versus the top 5 compact class cars. So yes, the Blista Kanjo, thank God it's in the compact class, not in the sports class, so that's really good, as there's currently only 10 vehicles in the compacts class, including this one, so this should be a little interesting. Keep in mind that this track is perfectly flat, therefore the results of this race are not the same as testing it in the city or on a highway where the speed is different. All cars are fully modified. Also, as newer cars release, the positions of these cars may change, even though compacts don't really come out too often, but if another one does come out, it will change. The Asbo was the last one that came out before this. So if you're wondering why certain compact cars are missing, that's because they were too slow to make it into the top 5 list. Remember, this is only the top 5. The Panto, for example, did not make it into top 5, so that's why it's not in here. The timestamps for each car will be in the pinned comment, where you can select exactly which races you want to see. I'll also summarize the results and provide my overall opinion on the Blista Kanjo at the end of the video, with the timestamps in the pinned comment as well for that. Hope you guys enjoy.
Too soon, Junior.
Bye, have a great time.
Alright, so according to the testing on this perfectly flat track, that places the Dinka Blista Kanjo in an amazing first place out of the 10 raceable compact class currently in game. So yes, again, we only have 10 raceable compact class cars in this game, which is pretty laughable, one of the smallest classes in the game. And yes, before I get all the comments saying about the open wheel class, how it only has 2 vehicles at launch for racing, but I mean, if you really think about it, this is a new of a class. I'm pretty sure that they're going to be adding a bunch of new ones in the upcoming updates, so I don't think it's going to be staying 2 vehicles for a long time. So keep in mind that the Blista Kanjo does have pretty bad handling with its front wheel drive drivetrain, and it has a ton of understeer and randomly oversteers over bumps. It's not that good of a car around turns. The Brioso, for example, is a lot better for tracks with turns because of its all-wheel drive drivetrain and good traction, as you saw. But the top speed for the Brioso is just not there, so at least now we have more variety to choose from for compact class races. Before it was just Brioso and that was it. That was the best for literally almost every situation. But now, at least you have a little bit more of a variety. So, I will however say that for those of you who know about the wiggle boost trick for the Brioso, where you just steer back and forth, that does keep the Brioso out ahead of the Kanjo for a while, as you can see. But even then, eventually the Kanjo still ends up catching up to it and passing it. Did take a little bit longer, but I think the Kanjo is still a good car to own for racetracks with long straights. I'm glad Rockstar made it somewhat balanced to where it's mainly a straight line car. I'm sure some of you also wanted to see the Kanjo against the Sugoi and against the Blista Compact from the sports class as well, so we went ahead and did that. Keep in mind that these 2 races were done using a transform race checkpoint, so we can do the sports versus compact races. You can see how the Kanjo loses to the Sugoi. It just makes a lot of sense, as you know, the Sugoi is in the sports class, not in the compacts class, so I guess it does make a lot of sense that the Kanjo loses to that one. So, but the one that doesn't make much sense is the Blista Compact losing very badly to the Kanjo, and you gotta keep in mind that the Blista Compact is in the sports class, so, you know, I don't understand why it's that so. So, for little comparison's sake, let's say the Blista Compact was in the compacts class. I went ahead and, because I always have all the times written down for all the different cars, I went ahead and plugged the numbers, and that would actually place it in 5th place on this track for top speed for the compacts class if it was in that class. So even then, it would still lose to the Kanjo, the Brioso. It wouldn't be not even mildly competitive in the class for top speed. So I have no idea why Rockstar put it in the sports class to begin with. It really makes no sense. So, is the Kanjo worth about $700,000 with upgrades? As much as I'd hate to say it, I'm gonna have to say yes. And the reason for that is because if you really sit down and think about it, it's a new DLC car in 2020, and it's at the top of the class with a ton of customization for well under $1 million, even if you put the most expensive upgrade for every single option. I think that's a good deal when we factor in GTA's crazy inflation and how expensive cars are these days. I think it's worth it. I really do. Of course, this is just my opinion. Others would say, oh, $500,000 for a Civic, that's nuts. But I mean, it's GTA. You have to keep that in mind. Plus, I mean, like, I know a lot of people say this, but in this case, I think it's a lot more reasonable that to make $500,000 to $700,000 in GTA, if you have a bunker, CEO crates, I mean, you can make that amount of money in not that much time. Anyways, guys, remember to keep in mind that the positions of these cars may change as newer cars release. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.